Alright, imagine this. You have a 7-figure e-commerce store and you rack up $300,000 in pending influencer shoutouts over the span of 7 days. You then take a step back and ask yourself, what just happened? Well, that's me. I think we can offer $10,000 for a 30-second YouTube integration and possibly a post on the Instagram story if you're open to it. The thing is though, I'm more so saying what just happened in a good way. Who would have ever thought that what started as $150 Instagram shoutouts would lead to $150,000 influencer collaboration deals? I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, what if it goes south? What if we lose all that money? Should be enough light. Recording? Awesome. All right. I don't know where to begin with this video. We have a lot to talk about. But before we talk about where we are at right now with our influencer marketing, I want to talk about the change that has been happening with influencer marketing and is currently happening right now that has caused us to refine a lot of our efforts and define a new set of rules that we follow with every brand deal that we do that has proven to be very, very effective and work out very, very well. And that's going to lead us into our influencer marketing strategy right now with racking up hundreds of thousands of dollars in brand deals and how you can go out there and do the same exact thing, even at a smaller scale. So before we get into that, I want to get my business partner, Julia, on a call. She's really the best person to talk to when it comes to this stuff. Inside of our business, I'll take care of closing the influencer deal, taking care of payment, setting everything up with them. Julia is really the one navigating the ship, recommending influencers. If I have a question about an influencer, I go to her. She knows just about everybody in the industry. She'll send me influencers that we can work with. It's really a direct result of her. So I want to get her on a call and get her feedback on the state of influencer marketing right now, because I think this is absolutely crucial before we get into the strategy. So we're going to FaceTime her. Yo! So I'm filming a YouTube video right now, and I thought you would be perfect for it. Influencer marketing has definitely changed over the years. You and I both know that. We started back in 2016. It was very easy at that time to get sales. You could throw up any kind of ad on an influencer page and be profitable right out of the gate. However, as the years went by, it became increasingly more and more complex, and consumers became a lot more aware of what's been going on, more skeptical.
Doge shopping app sent a dozen of social media influencers to a trip in Fiji. Now, what they basically said is, if you promote our app and our company, we'll send you to an island far away. These girls who went on the trip could easily buy a ticket to Fiji by themselves. Instead, they were fighting for a spot and almost undervaluing their brand so they could go on a trip.
Some even saying that influencers have become more greedy.
A judge approved a request to subpoena records from Kendall Jenner and the agencies representing Bella Hadid and Hailey Bieber, among other models, performers, and social media influencers who were collectively paid more than $5 million to build buzz for the now failed festival.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so I mean, basically, I think everyone's been noticing the shift. If we go back 2 to 3 years ago, and we think of kind of almost like a boom in Instagram.
500 million. That's how many people are now using Instagram.
To be honest with you, today I don't trust mostly anything on Instagram. Swipe up, because it seems it's not authentic to me. The people that I follow and I trust and buy is a lot of YouTubers, vloggers, just people who have YouTube channels that slowly, they integrate the product into their YouTube video, right? Not just like opening up like, wow, look, I got this product from this company. It's more almost like they put it in their daily life, right? It's been a big shift coming into 2019 and 2020.
So I know that you're very familiar with James Charles.
Hi sisters, James Charles here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel.
And how fast he's grown on YouTube. You're actually the one that told me about him. I know recently he got called out for promoting a brand called Sugar Bear.
Quick shout out to Sugar Bear Hair. They just came out with brand new vegan sleep vitamins, and
that supposedly he said it helps with his anxiety.
I've been dealing with a lot of anxiety recently, and it always comes late at night when I'm laying in bed. So I've been taking these 30 minutes before bed, and they've been really, really helping.
But he then later tweeted on Twitter saying that he needs help with anxiety, he wakes up with it, and he was looking for recommendations. And it was at that point that everybody put two and two together and realized that he wasn't actually using what he was endorsing. Now, you being somebody that likes James Charles and follows his content, what do you think about this, putting yourself in the shoes of a consumer?
Well, it's unfortunate because I do like James Charles, and I commend him because he's built an audience and a brand that is out of this world so fast. But what goes through my head is simple. He's a sellout.
I've been taking these 30 minutes before bed, and they've been really, really helping.
He took a deal with this company, and it's obviously for one reason and one reason only. He didn't do this deal because he was ordering it and passionately agreed with it. He wanted the check. He wanted the money. He wanted the benefits that the company was going to give him. It was nothing about, wow, I like Sugar Bear. It's helping with my hair, my anxiety, my sleep, my skin. It was just about that paycheck and the benefits that it gave him.
And almost undervaluing their brand.
It was nothing short of that. And most people would say, oh, if I could get a deal with that, I would do it as well. But to the consumers, to me and you and the consumers, we just see it as being almost like a sellout. I guess the YouTube paycheck wasn't big enough, or the makeup paycheck wasn't big enough.
Now, I know you've seen that recent video that's been going viral with influencers promoting gravel.
Congratulations, you are now a proud owner of Past the Moon.
I'm actually a proud owner of the moon. Oh my god.
On their Instagram stories, and they're thinking that they're promoting rocks from the moon. It's crazy.
This is from the moon!
Thank you, Space Center. Cheers, guys.
So yeah, I just want to say a big thank you to all.
Obviously, it was all a stunt, all of it was fake, and it just made the influencers look really, really bad and showed that they're not researching what they're promoting. It's just bad. I want to ask you, can you think of any influencers, because we see situations like this all the time, it seems like nowadays, can you think of any influencers that you follow that you actually trust when something is being promoted? And do they have any kind of specific formula that they might be following?
So if I could give an example, I know a lot of people, there's controversy around, her name's Trisha Paytas.
Hey guys, what is up today?
She is a certified mukbanger and a vlogger, and basically in her vlogs she makes it very seamless into the video. So for example, she does her daily routine in her vlogs, which I follow. I enjoy watching vloggers, and she doesn't, so for example, there was a backpack she was talking about. She pulled it out like she got it in the mail, and she basically said, I ordered this, so keyword, I ordered this. She makes it seem very authentic and like she engaged in it, and then they gave her a discount code when really we know that there's money involved. They want it in front of her audience. But I have actually watched people like her and different vloggers and see products they talk about and instantly go to the website and say, well, Trisha likes it, Trisha. And then another thing Trisha does is she takes that product and she places it behind her in spots in other videos. So honestly, a lot of Instagram stories and stuff like that, it's so-so. It depends on who the person is. But I think YouTube is the new wave. I think that's the new shift. People live and die by their YouTubers and who they like. It's almost like it's raw footage, right? I mean, I know a lot of it's edited, but it's almost like raw footage where, like TV, reality TV, that is so edited and scripted where, and again, I know YouTube is, but they make it more raw, like you're in their life, right? Like when I wake up and I see a new vlog, I feel like I'm sitting right there with that YouTuber. I feel like I'm sitting right there with James Charles while he's putting his makeup on and doing talk time. These YouTubers have really adapted to what their viewers like. I'd rather invest more money on something, for example, like YouTube or any other different streaming platform, because it's there forever. Where on Instagram, a story post, that's gone in 24 hours. Where YouTube, it's there forever. I can search 4 years from now and it's still there.
Yeah, you get that long-term traffic. You pay for it one time and you have traffic still coming in 6 months later, a year down the road. I think that's a massive advantage that a lot of people overlook. Traffic still coming in 6 months later, a year down the road. All right, let me rewind to one thing that Julia said for the people in the back that may not have heard this.
Because it's there there forever. Where on Instagram, a story post, that's gone in 24 hours.
YouTube content lives forever. That is the biggest advantage here. And I understand that with Instagram, you can do a feed post and it'll also last forever. However, with a static image, it's not the same as a YouTube channel video where you can see the connection that the influencer has with the brand and the product. Now, I purposely asked Julia not to give away too much information so that I could save it until right now. Strategically embedded the strategies to be at the end so that you can hear us talk about influencer marketing, where it's going, so that you can kind of program your mind for what I'm about to share. A few months ago, I made a video outlining how we make over $20,000 from influencer stories on Instagram. And I know this might sound very counterintuitive because the first half of this video we're essentially bashing Instagram. There is a bottom line to this. When we do Instagram story promotions, we try not to make that our only outlet for reaching that influencer's followers. I think it's very limited if you do that. I like to think of influencer stories as retargeting. You have Facebook, think about Facebook, you have retargeting. That's how I think of Instagram stories when you're working with an influencer. We'll reach out to influencers on YouTube, do a promotion with them, set everything up, all the followers and subscribers will see it. And then after we'll do an attack on Instagram, followers will be able to see it again. Anybody that follows the influencer on Instagram, they'll see it again. We're establishing all these touch points and building this relationship. And at that point, it's so much easier for them to swipe up, go to the website and be able to buy. This is a very similar strategy that multi-million, $100 million company BarkBox follows, one of my favorite e-commerce companies out there. A simple keyword search for BarkBox into YouTube reveals hundreds of product integrations and sponsorships by YouTubers showing off their BarkBox. And a lot of these influencers, a lot of the bigger ones I follow them on YouTube and Instagram. So I'm able to see exactly what BarkBox is doing. Phase number one is a YouTube integration. So integrating the product into the YouTuber's video or sponsoring the entire video itself. And then phase number two is the attack on the Instagram, whether it's via a feed post or story post, and getting the followers to swipe up, go right to the website. So that the form of quote unquote retargeting that I talked about earlier. Now, we don't follow this strategy every single time. Sometimes we'll just do a brand deal with an influencer on Instagram and that's it. We won't worry about YouTube. However, as time progressed this year, and really specifically these last few months, it's gotten harder and harder, especially with Instagram throttling the reach more and more, and now they want to hide likes on photos. It's getting more complex, and with this whole hashtag ad culture on Instagram and all these ads you see on influencer stories, I feel like there's just this perception, at least from what we've seen, perception in consumers' minds when they see that, regardless of whether or not the product is good or not, they think a certain way. And now going back to YouTube, the first time we flipped the switch and tried a YouTube promo was last year, and we did $16,000 off of it. And let me tell you how much we spent. We spent $1,500. It blew our minds. The influencer only had, I think it was like 300,000 followers on YouTube. Now they have 1 million. Insane. We've never gotten this kind of return on investment with cold traffic ads on Facebook, any advertising platform out there for that matter. So we did it again, and same exact thing. We made money from it. Strictly YouTube for this one again. The sales are being tracked by discount code usage, and I know that's not the most effective way to do it. At that time, that's how we did it. So by discount code. So with all that in mind, the YouTube/Instagram attack strategy, I don't really have a name for it at this time, but the strategy we're doing now, we are scaling up. We played small for quite a while. We're scaling up now. And in this case, we have $300,000 in the queue. And we've been running this business now for almost 2 years. And we know when the busy months are. We know our product inside and out. We know our customers. We know we've spent over $100,000 now on influencers, so we know what's going to work, what's not going to work, and we can safely be able to scale up and know what kind of response we're going to be able to get. To a lot of people, fronting $20,000 for a sponsored YouTube video, even in our cases as high as $175,000 is expensive. And it is, I'm not going to lie. It's still it's just crazy. I'll leave it at that. So the question you might be asking is, how are we doing that? And how can you do that? Maybe not do that, but even do it at a smaller scale, spending $200 and being able to scale your way up. But if you run a business doing 6 figures per month, at least, or even just tens of thousands of dollars per month, you know there's a lot of money coming into the business bank account, coming in, going out, and that's cash flow. You've built up cash flow, and as you do sales and scale up your ads, you have more cash flow coming into the business bank account, and that is how we are able to allocate funds to this influencer marketing. What's important to understand here is that there's a long-term game involved, and we're looking at the next 6 months, even a year, and thinking, okay, how much can we make off of this? And at that point, it really just becomes worth it, and you have to go into it with that kind of mindset, that long-term mindset, and even the mindset of not profiting from it. We could break even from it. That alone is going to be a win for us because of all the data we are able to acquire, all the customers, people on our email list, the retargeting bubble that we're able to build up. That is invaluable, especially because all those people are warmed up from that influencer. Now, before you ever scale to enormous heights like we have with our influencer marketing, it's important that you play it small at first. Do not get into it with a new store and spend all this, like, if you go into it and spend $10,000 on a post and expect something, you're gonna be very, very disappointed. We started small and played small with influencer marketing for almost 2 years. And you can actually find a lot of really good influencers with 1 million followers that maybe only charge $1,000 for a featured post, and you can make some good money off of that. Get some good data from that influencer, customer data. This one right here that I'm showing you on the screen, we paid $1,000 for it, or actually $1,500, and we made $5,000 back. It was a feed post. And a year into it, after doing that, spending, sometimes $150, $500, $1,500, we were able to allocate our first large sum of money to an influencer. We had an opportunity at that time, had a connection, so we allocated $20,000 into our first big Instagram story promotion. That was it, just a story, and did over $20,000 in sales that day. Now, when you look at that, pay $20,000, make just over $20,000 back, right off the bat, we're in the negative by over $10,000 that day. But we went into it anticipating that. All our influencer marketing now, we don't go into it anticipating profit. We're really just trying to earn the right to use somebody's influence to get our brand in front of their audience. And if we make money, that's an even bigger win. But as time went on and as we scaled our retargeting and did email campaigns and stuff like that and retargeted 50,000 people that came to the site from that influencer, months down the road, we eventually broke even off of it. And at that point, we bought 2 more story posts from that influencer. Yeah, again, $25,000 each. The price went up. You got more followers, $50,000 for that month, and we actually profited from it. We followed 2 golden rules with every brand deal that we do nowadays. And we came up with these golden rules months ago, and they've proven it to be very, very effective. Number 1, we must implement storytelling. And number 2, we must choose authenticity. Let me explain. Number 1, storytelling. I want you to think of all the influencers you follow and why you follow them. And it all comes down to stories, whether they are putting out daily vlogs and you're following their life, they're providing guru advice, or they're making stunt videos. The bottom line is you're following their journey and their story with all this content that they put out. And stories are what people relate to, and they are what's memorable. So for example, let's say that you're selling a teeth whitening kit. It would be very wise to have that influencer talk about the problem that was solved for them upon using your product. Hey, ever since I was a kid, I've always had yellow teeth. It's genetic, whatever. I don't know much about the teeth whitening industry, but what we're doing is we are telling a story to the audience, and right there you can see how much more effective that would be than just telling the audience, hey, look at this, it works, swipe up and go check it out. Number 2, authenticity. You need to find influencers that you think will really match your brand and not just work with them because of the number of followers they have and the high level engagement. That does not mean anything. That's a quick way to lose a lot of money. That's how we lost last year $8,000 by getting sucked into that. Now, if I was Sugar Bear Hair, James Charles would not have passed my test upon asking myself these questions. I know this, and I would have determined this by following the influencer. So following James Charles, you want to do a thorough inspection of who you're looking to do a promotion with, who you're researching. Are there any controversies with them? Are they growing or dying? Are there other brands working with them? You want to know them inside and out, who you are working with, and that's gonna help you get the best bang for your buck and allow you to save a lot of time and money. All right, guys, that is all I have for you on this video. If you got value from it, please please let me know in the comments. If you have any questions of things I did not answer, let me know. Drop a like if you got value, just or smash that like button, just don't break your phone. And if you haven't already, join my Facebook group. I try to post in there. I'm gonna try to get back into posting in there a lot more with more value outside of the YouTube channel. Ask questions in there. I hope to see you inside. And with that, I will see you guys in next week's video.